Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be making a chocolate angel food cake. So to start with, you will need a tube pan, and this is a 10-inch tube pan. If you don't have one, you can try to make it in a 10-inch round pan. It may not rise to as great as volume as the tube pan, but you could try it. The oven is being preheated right now at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to combine our dry ingredients first. I'm going to be making chocolate angel food cake, so I have some cocoa powder here, about 1/4 cup that I'm going to sift into the flour mixture. I'm using 1 cup of all-purpose flour today. If I was making a white traditional angel food cake, then I would use cake flour instead. Cake flour has been bleached, so you will end up with a whiter, more tender cake. We need a total of 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. Half of it is going to get mixed in with the flour mixture, so I have 3/4 cup of granulated sugar here. So I'm going to combine these 3 ingredients: flour, sugar, and I'm going to give that a whisk. And then I am going to sift in the cocoa powder, just because there are some lumps that I'm seeing. And then give it a final whisk to combine. Now the next ingredient is perhaps the star of the show. Angel food cakes are considered unshortened cakes, which means they do not contain any fat. And this cake also does not contain any chemical leavening agents such as baking powder or baking soda. So the leavening is really dependent on egg whites. To separate egg whites, eggs will separate easier if it comes straight from the refrigerator when it is cold. So the best way to do that is to use an egg separator, something like this. You would crack an egg into this, and then this will hold the yolk while you collect the egg whites. Or this gadget, you can squeeze it and draw out the egg yolk, and then what you have remaining would be the egg white. Since egg whites will beat up better at room temperature, the best thing to do is to rest your bowl of egg whites in a warm water bath for about half an hour, rather than leaving the egg whites for an extended period of time on your countertop. That would be much safer. So right here we have separated 12 egg whites, or if you want to go by the weight, about a 425 gram measure of egg whites. So we're gonna go ahead and put that into my stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can use an electric hand mixer. The best to beat up the egg white would be either in a glass bowl or a stainless steel bowl, and you want to make sure that your bowl is very clean, that there aren't any traces of fat or egg yolk, because any little bit of fat will prevent the volume of the egg white from being produced. So let's go ahead and put that in. I'm also going to use my balloon whisk. In it goes. I'm also going to be adding half a teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of almond extract. You can add vanilla extract if you prefer that, or almond extract, or a combination of both. I just thought that with the chocolate flavoring, the almond would go very well. And we're going to start beating it until it gets frothy, and then we will add the next ingredient. You can really smell the almond extract. So what we need to add now is 1.5 teaspoons of cream of tartar. And cream of tartar is an acid salt, and the reason we add it into the egg white mixture is to maintain the stability of the egg whites, especially when we're depending on it for leavening. So we're at a point where the egg whites now have stiffened up quite a bit. It's at the soft peak stage, so we are going to continue beating, and this is the time that we're going to be adding the 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, and we'll add that slowly, about 2 tablespoons at a time, while the mixer continues to run. So take a look at the egg whites now. Since adding the sugar, they have gotten very glossy, and when I pulled out the beater, you can see now this is a stiff peak. It stands very tall and then it droops slightly. So we're at a point where the egg whites are ready, and we are going to now add back the flour mixture. So I like to sift it in to keep the mixture nice and light. I'm going to add some of this right on top of the egg whites. Make sure there aren't any clumps. And then I'm going to show you how to incorporate the flour mixture into the egg white. And what we don't want to do is stir it vigorously. We don't want to deflate the egg white. We want to maintain all of the air that we have beaten into the egg whites, because that is going to help your cake to have a high volume. So we have all the flour, sugar mixture sifted, and now we are going to blend all of that into the egg white. And you notice the motion down the middle, come up the side, and rotate the bowl. And keep repeating that until you have the flour mixture well incorporated into your egg whites. Now the cake is ready to be put into the springform pan. Notice that the pan is ungreased, and we don't want to grease the pan so that as the cake bakes, it can climb up the sides of the pan for some support. So the batter is now in the tube pan, and I cut through with the rubber scraper to make sure that there aren't any big air pockets in the batter. And then in it goes into the oven for about 40 to 45 minutes. And the test for doneness is when you press it lightly that it's going to spring back for you. And the leavening for this cake is from the air that has been incorporated into the egg white and steam. As the cake bakes, the heat will turn the liquid into steam. So I wish you could smell the aroma in my kitchen right now. I just took the cake out after baking for 45 minutes. The way to cool this cake is to invert the tube pan upside down. This will prevent the cake from collapsing and flattening the top. And as it cools, the structure will set. And we're going to leave it like this for 1.5 hours. So the cake is now cool and nice volume that we have. To cut the cake, it is best to use a serrated knife. Nice and light. And for presentation, if you want to add a little bit of icing sugar, just a very light dusting. In the summertime, I like to serve this with some fresh berries. Right now, all we have are frozen berries, and so you can defrost some and then put it along the side. And there we have it, chocolate angel food cake.